Hey everyone, and welcome to 6 Ashes by GB Modding for a brand new Let's Play by me, SimFarmer. So we are just on our way to have a look at a new farm we'll be possibly buying. We've managed to secure a loan of £500,000 from the bank to start a new adventure and build up our own farm here in the 6 Ashes area. So really looking forward to exploring this map. Say the map by GB Modding, it does look fantastic. I've only had a brief quick look around, so I'm really looking forward to exploring the map a little bit more and seeing what it has to offer throughout this Let's Play. So we are playing with seasons, with the 6 Ashes geo that's also on the mod hub. And it is extremely dark. As you can see, we are in early spring and it is coming up to 20 to 7. So the lights on our Land Rover don't go very far ahead of us. I'm just going to check the map to make sure we are actually going the right way. Yes. So we're heading up to Pineview Farm, for those familiar with the actual map, which is the pig farm on the map. We'll have a look around that, and it's possibly what we will be purchasing as we just passed the cider house, which is the local pub in the area. A little bit too early to be stopping for a drink, I think. So the plan for today is to buy some land, see what the state the fields are actually in, and then have a look at getting some work done, getting the fields ready for crops to go in. As I mentioned, Pineview Farm is a pig farm, which is just down here on the left. So make sure we don't pull out into any oncoming traffic. So should be just here on the left, the entrance, if I'm going the right way. Yep, so here we go. Let's just turn our engine off for a little bit. So here we are, Pineview Farm. Let's turn our torch off. So I believe this land is available for £125,099. So a little over 125,000. It does come with a pig enclosure, so we can get started on some pigs straight away. So we've got a small storage shelter here. This will be handy for storing some equipment in. A little hay barn. I believe this is the manure pit for the actual pigs, so it's where the manure will spawn. A couple of little sheds here, or shelters, and then we've got a little bit more storage space, and looks like a little workshop. So it's a fairly small yard to start with. Diesel fill point, I think possibly we need to fill that ourselves, and then we get this little field. Field 41 here is included in part of the land, and also if we actually go on to this menu, I'll show you this way. So Pineview Farm, as I said, £125,099 to buy. It comes with Field 41, which is directly attached to the land at the actual farm itself, and then we get these 3 fields down here, 27, 26 and 24 as well, is all included in this farmyard. It, as I did mention, it does have the pig enclosure, but the pigs, or as with any of the farms on the map, the enclosures don't actually show until you buy the land. So we'll start off, we'll buy that. So that's our first £125,099 spent. Let's go back to that, see what the state of the fields in. So 27, 26 and 24. 26, 27 are in the harvested state, 24's in a withered state. 26, 24 require ploughing, and 24 is going to require some lime. But we do have fertilizer states already on 26 and 27, which is handy. 24 doesn't have any fertilizer on. Field 41 looks like it's got 2 rounds of fertilizer, and also doesn't need ploughing or lime. which is a bonus. So we've got 2 fields require ploughing and 1 we'll have to get some lime on. I'm also thinking to expand the farm a little bit further to start with. There are these group of 3 fields up here. So we've got 47, 77 and 78, which is a total of 79,010. I think we'll buy that as well. That will give us 7 fields to get started. And the state of these fields, 47 doesn't require anything, along with 77. Neither of those have any fertilizer. 77 has fertilizer, and again doesn't require any lime. So we only need lime on 1 field currently. So I think we'll do that first. If we get we'll go up to the store, get our tractor, our first tractor. We'll get a spreader so that we can do some lime. We'll also get some fertilizer on these fields before we plough them up, so that can be worked in with the plough, and then we can decide what sort of crop. So our main job for today is going to be to get these fields ploughed, the lime spread and some fertilizer on, so we can get them ready for... Just trying to think more my right. So I just reset my time. It's supposed to be on times 10, but somehow I've managed to go to times 15. Right, so we'll head up to the store and go and purchase our new tractor. Carefully back out of here. Yeah, we'll get a tractor. We'll possibly only lease a plough for now, as we've only got the 2 fields to do. We've still got 295,000 left, but we obviously need to try and buy as much of our own equipment as we can. So we need tractor, fertilizer, lime spreader, seed drill. As we're doing pigs, we're also going to need a planter to do corn. So we need to buy a fair bit. And also, what I'll explain as well is what we're doing is, because we have a £500,000 loan as our starting capital, I've done it in a way that we will need to pay off an amount of the loan each kind of period of the season. So by the end of early spring we need to have paid off £10,000 of the loan, and then mid-spring another 10,000. So by the end of spring we need to have paid back £30,000 of the loan. So we need to make sure we've got enough money for that come the end of every period. If we turn all the lights off, so run our battery down. If we don't pay back the required amount, we'll probably do it in a way that we'll get a £5,000 fine, like added on top of what we owe. Kind of, that's why I want to do it. So we're constantly making repayments back on the loan over time. So we're going to need a tractor. It's nothing too expensive, but also has good versatility, so something with a 3-point linkage and the ability to have a front load attacher, and pretty much as high horsepower as we can get. So that one we could get 150 horsepower, 95,000 for the Fendt 500 or 515. T5 series, that's only 117 is the most that goes to, which would possibly like something a bit more. Massey Ferguson 5600 and get 130 horsepower, that's just over 100,000. Yeah, I think these are starting to get a little bit too pricey. I don't really want to go above 100,000 for our tractor. So this one we can go 143, which is nice and cheap, but I don't know if it's just a little bit too small, kind of the actual physical size of the tractor. I do have this one, I think it's off the mod hub, so we can get everything we need on this one. So we can go with the 3-point linkage with a PTO. Engine setup, it does do a boost. Now I don't know if that is like kind of plausible or realistic actual thing, but 195 horsepower for 88,120. Of course, have the front loader attacher on that. So that is kind of a really good price for obviously the power to the price ratio. Other option is the Ford 40 series, which I really think I want to go for, because I really like the old Fords. Well, this is like the last of the Fords before New Holland took over, because we have got the 8340 as well, New Holland version. So we can go for the 8340 tuned, which is 160 horsepower. So we 35 horsepower shorter than the Fendt offers us. But it is £8,000 cheaper. Yes, I really think we want to go for this. Oh, we've got Lamborghini. Set up 130. 5700, which I don't think will have the power requirement. Or T4 series, again I think it's going to be too small. I don't think we're going to get anything in the medium tractor range, other than there is the John Deere. I don't think I've actually installed it. 7530, which is 209 horsepower for around 100,000. But as I'm using that on no man's land, I don't think I installed it on this. So I think I'm going to go with the Ford, because I see there's a farm near me that have got one of these. So it'd be nice to use something that I see locally to me. So we'll go with the Mitas wheels. Look more like the Michelin wheels than the Michelin wheels do on other tractors. Finally, we'll go with the Michelin. Can we go wide? Yes. Beacon, we want dual side. I think we'll just go right side beacon. So we want the 8340 tuned. We'll just leave that standard, and we do want a front loader attacher. So that'll be 81,725. Make sure that is correct. Yep. So we'll buy that for our first tractor. So we're also going to need a front weight, which I'm going to go with we'll go with the adjustable weight. We'll just keep it standard black. I think actually I want to go with this one because it's got my logo. Well, I've customised the name so it's got Sim Farmer on the front. So we'll go with that. Next we're going to need a fertilizer or spreader that can do lime and fertilizer preferably. And we'll buy this because we can use that then for fertilizing contracts. So what can do? That can do lime, fertilizer and seed. Okay, I'm not sure what seed, whether it's grass seed or you can sow grass with it. I'm not sure on that. I do have the realistic seeder mod installed. So I'm not sure that will work with that mod. In when we come to plant crops, we need to fill the seed drill or planter with the correct seed for the crop we're planting. So we've got the Primo 332, 20,000, 24 meter. That does all. Oh, it must be the realistic seeder mod that's adding the seed to these, because pretty much all of them have got seed on. I'm thinking possibly this one. 15,000. Go with 24 meter working width, but it is good we have got the option to adjust that at the garage back at the farm. So with cover, that's going to be 22,500 for 3,000 litre capacity. But it does do lime fertilizer. So we'll go with that and we'll get a pallet of lime. I think one pallet should do us for now, because if we have more, we'll have to come back and collect it. I don't think that the store will be too happy with us leaving pallets lying around on their property. So we'll get the front weight hooked up first. Oh, one mod I forgot to install, which I was going to use as manual attach, which I'll have a look at adding. So we'll get this filled up. We'll head down to field 24 and we'll get the lime spread on that. Then what we'll do, we'll head back to our farm, drop off the lime, and then get back up here to pick up some fertilizer, and then we'll get some fertilizer spread on the fields we need to plough. One thing you do have to watch on this, traffic is pretty nippy down this road. It's not overly too fast like some maps that it's just impossible to try and pull out, but it's a nice speed that you don't get stuck behind traffic very often. So we'll get down to 24 and we'll get the lime spread. Okay, so we're just coming up to our fields, which is just down here by the sawmill. So I believe we go down to the right hand side of the entrance to the sawmill, and then to the left we can access our 3 fields down here. Ooh, quite bumpy. And then there's a track that we can follow that takes us straight back to the farm. It's handy so we can avoid the main road. So we've got fields 27 just on the left hand side here, and then our field 26 on the right. And also this is where the honeybee allotment, or the honeybee area is called. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, honey pot allotment. So we've got the greenhouse. We don't own that. That's not part of the land we own, but we could possibly buy that as an extra source of income. I believe you can fill up the greenhouses with manure and water, and then I think you get a hourly income from the beehives. So we could possibly look at that, but at the moment I don't want to spend any more money until we've got most of the equipment we're going to need. So what we can do is turn off our beacon as we no longer need it, and get this switched on. Do want to adjust the flow rate, because the default for the variable spray mod is a little bit too low. Not sure if 500 is quite enough either. But we'll see how we get on, how much lime's left, and then we can adjust it from that. So not a huge field, but it's a start, and obviously there's plenty of other fields that are in the area that we can look to buy in the future. We may possibly buy a little bit more land once we've got most of the equipment. We'll see what money we've got left, but we do also need to be wary of keeping that £10,000 to pay off the first instalment of our loan at the end of early spring. So possibly look at doing a few contracts to cover that if possible. So we do have a nice beet pad down here as well. If we do some sugar beet in the future, we can unload there and then keep it there until it's ready to be sold. So we got this tiny little bit. One other mod I want to try and use as well is Proceed, but I believe that works in conjunction with GPS, which at the moment I don't really want to spend 15,000 installing GPS on our tractor. So something we'll look at using in the future. There's quite a few mods that I don't use in the time-lapse series, or haven't got round to using. One's like the Manure mod system by Wopster is one I want to try out as well. I don't use that in the time-lapse series simply because it requires a lot of jumping in and out of the tractor to attach the hoses, which a bit similar thing to the manual attach. I really personally don't think it looks that good when you're constantly flicking the camera, jumping in and out of equipment really quick. So I try to minimise that as much as possible, similar to the first person logging. I try and avoid doing as much of that as possible in the time lapses, because it, for me, even at a slow speed, it just doesn't look good. Right, so if we follow this track around, so there's a nice, fairly cheap bit of forest land here as well. We could look at buying for winter to do some forestry. Probably just chainsaw and a trailer just to earn a bit of extra money. So we follow this track all the way down alongside, is it field 39 and 40 I believe, yeah, and then we come right into the back of our farmyard. And then what we'll do, we'll drop the lime off, try and find somewhere we can drop the lime off anyway. We may have to just dump it in the middle of the yard for now until we get our front loader pallet fork so we can put it into storage. We'll then head up to the store to fill up with fertilizer. We'll get field 24 and 26 spread with fertilizer, and then we'll get the plow, try and get those ploughed today. And then looking at the geo for this map, we will need to do our first crops before the end of early spring. So if we just stop here, we'll just take a look at the calendar. So we've got wheat. Oh, actually, no, we should be fine to do mid-spring for barley, because the pigs, if we take a look, with seasons the pigs don't require any root crops, so we don't have to worry about potatoes or sugar beet. So the main one will be corn, so we're definitely going to have to do corn. Then we've got the choice of wheat or barley. As barley's the cheaper crop and the higher yielding crop, we'll do barley for that category. And then out of soybeans, canola and sunflowers, we'll do canola. Again, that's the cheapest and highest yielding out of those three crops. So the first crops we're going to be able to get in is barley and the canola, which we can't do today because the ground temperature is too low. So what we'll probably do is the first day of mid-spring. I do need to change that actually. I want 6-day season length. I'll do that now. Yeah, so we'll do the barley and then we'll do the barley and canola next time in mid-spring. We'll get those in. And then the corn we can't do until late spring at the earliest, so it'll give us plenty of time to do that. So then we can possibly look at doing some contracts as well. So what I need to do is get this unloaded. I might just see if we can unload it into the manure pit for now, if it will let us. Nope. Yep, there we go. Right, so I'll head back up the store and I'll get loaded up with a pallet of fertilizer, and then we'll get back down to 24 and 26 to get the fertilizer on those. Okay, so we're just back down by our 3 fields at this bottom end of the map. and we'll get the fertilizer spread. So I only bought one pallet out of the 2,400 litres, again just so we're not leaving half empty pallets up at the store for now. So we need to do is definitely just double check 24 and 26. Yeah, so as we're going to be ploughing those, we might as well put some fertilizer on first and then get that ploughed in. So we'll do 26 first. I have increased the spray rate of the spreader to 1000 because we didn't use much lime on the other one at all, and I want to say I'm not doing a ultra realistic series, as there's no way I could possibly ever do that, as I don't know anything, well, I don't know much about actual real life farming to be able to do a realistic series. But if we can add a little bit more realism to it, then yeah, we'll do what we can to do that. So say mods like manual attach, which for some things you probably wouldn't attach that way, like some trailers that you probably just attach in cab, but that'll obviously add a little bit more to it, along with the realistic seeder mod. Just general mods like that. So if you do have any recommendations for any other mods to add that I've not mentioned yet, I may have already have them installed, I've just forgot, then let me know, and I'll see about adding them in the future. So you can see the rate is a lot higher, but I say probably a lot more realistic. Now another mod I will be adding is the higher fuel usage mod, because otherwise we'll never have to buy fuel. So I think the actual fuel usage of the vehicles to real time is pretty realistic, considering we've only done like 30 minutes, or well, less than 30 minutes in this tractor. We've barely used any fuel, but game time we've done a good couple of hours. So to kind of simulate the game time usage of fuel, well, I'll put the high fuel usage mod on, which I think is by Realism Modding or Wopstar, one of the two. Right, so we'll get this one done, and then we'll head back to the yard, drop off the spreader, and then we'll go and get a plough. I'm not sure whether we'll lease a plough or buy one. We will need one pretty much every year. After we've done the corn, we're going to have to plough the field, so it might be worth buying one. We'll see what's available for what price, and then make a decision on that. We are going to be obviously a little bit restricted onto the size we can go, as we only have the 160 horsepower on this tractor, which I think is more than enough for a starting tractor. I say we do have the front loader and the 3-point linkage as well, which obviously gives us a lot of options as what we can use the tractor for. So we just bring that round, we'll go follow these tram lines roughly, although we've missed a slight little bit at the start of the field. So I do want to use some sort of tram line mod. I say Proceed I would really like to try, because I've not actually used that myself, but say without using it with GPS I don't think we can actually use that yet. And I think there is another mod, but not sure what seed drills they're compatible with, so I'll have a look into that and see what we can do. It would be nice to put some tram lines in, especially for jobs like this. We can follow the tram lines instead of making a right mess of driving all over the field. Right, so I think we've got everywhere. There's a tiny little bit there just need to do. I can still see some lime showing through. Okay, so I'll just check our PDA. So remove that. So yeah, so 26 has now got 2 layers of fertilizer. So if we get a seed drill or planter that does fertilizer, that one will be fully fertilized. 24 and 27 have both got 1 round of fertilizer. 41's got the 2, and then 47 and 77 haven't got any, but as we don't need to plough those, we might as well do the fertilizer with the planter and seed drill rather than do 2 jobs. I do also have weeds switched on. I don't normally use weeds in any of my time-lapse series, mainly because I just end up probably doing a lot of spraying, so I tend to have it switched off. So I'm going to keep it on and see how we go with it, because I've not actually used it with seasons yet, so we'll see how we go with that. So we will need to get a sprayer to spray herbicide. I think a sprayer, because we can then pre-spray the fields after planting, so like do a pre-emergent spray rather than wait for the weeds to come through. I'm not 100% sure how well that works, but we'll try it out. I say that's a new thing for me, because I've since early FS19 I got frustrated with the weeds. I've switched them off and they've always been switched off, so yeah, that will be something different to add for me as well. So we'll get this dropped off, and then we'll get back up to the store and get a plough, because we are coming up to 1:30 and really need to get these 2 fields ploughed ready for tomorrow, or the next day, which will be mid-spring, so we can get some planting done. Okay, so we're back up at the store and to have a look at picking up a plough. I say I think we'll possibly buy one, and then we've got it to use. We could always look at upgrading to a larger one if needs be in the future. So we've got the Salford 2 metre, that's 85 horsepower. The 2.5 metre Agro Mash, which I'd prefer as it's a reversible plough. That's a 150 horsepower requirement, 2.5 metre. We've got the Kverneland from the Kverneland Vicon pack, which is a 2.5 metre. It's a little bit too high on the horsepower, and also I think it's a bit too expensive. 2 metre, that's 180 horsepower. We've got these ones from the Gregoire Besson pack. These are the ones where you get the front plough. We wouldn't be able to run the front and rear plough. They do a 3 metre plough, which is a 150 horsepower requirement. It's only 7 mile an hour speed. Well, that's 21,000. I don't know. That one's too high horsepower requirement, too high. 170 is too high. 2 meters a bit too small. Decisions. That one's a 2.5. That's too expensive. 2 meter. I think looking at it, that one 3 meter wide working width, 150 horsepower, and we should be able to pull that no problems. It is reversible as well, 21,300. The other alternative is this one, which I can't remember where I got this one from, so don't really want to use it. But it's a slightly smaller one, but it's got a slightly higher working speed. So it's that advantage of the extra 1 mile an hour working speed over the extra half a metre working width. And also this one's considerably cheaper as well. Has slightly lower horsepower requirement. I think we'll go with this one. We'll go for the standard universal. I think we'll go with the Vogel and new colours as well. Yeah, I'll change that one to that colour. Looks more like the Cavernan colours as well. So that'll be 13,650. So we'll buy that one. I'll get this hooked up and go and get our fields done. Try and get these 2 fields done before the end of today. And then we'll be ready for planting our first crops next time. So we'll get some barley and canola sown in our fields. Which fields we'll do with which crops I'll decide. Get folded up into the travel position and get back down to what if this front weight's quite heavy enough. Oh, it was just the ground. It seemed to pop a wheelie then. I'm not sure if it was the actual ground because it's a little bit uneven. Quick pull out before that cement mixer. Right, we'll get back down to the fields and get these 2 fields done before we finish up. So we're already coming up to 2:30. It's going to start getting dark soon as we're in early spring. And so we're back down at fields that require ploughing. Yeah, I think the front weight could do with being a little bit heavier for this plough. It is a fairly big plough. It's only 2.5 metres wide, but we are bouncing around a little bit too much, especially on the bumps, so do need to be a bit careful. So I do think we might need to get a slightly heavier plough next time we come to use this. So right, we'll start off with field 26. Difficult to see what's the best direction to go in. Let's have a look at our PDA. So longest edge is kind of down this way. So if we get this unfolded and spun round, so if we kind of follow down. Also, I don't think this map has the multi-train angle, which might mean this might look a little bit odd in this direction. Yeah. Right, so we're going to have to keep it kind of 90 degrees. So otherwise it just looks a bit weird. I know it doesn't technically matter in game. I always think it looks a bit odd when the ground texture is going a completely different way to the implement you're using. So one handy thing, if you don't have GPS and if you're on console you don't have any kind of mod, if you open up your mini-map in the bottom, in this, at the bottom of the map you've got the numbers. I say a lot of you may already know this, so maybe nothing to do, but for those that possibly don't, you've got your degrees. So the first 3 numbers there are 180 degrees. So when you're ploughing, if you keep that open, you keep that at 180 degrees as best as you can, you know you're going in roughly a straight line. So it's kind of a handy way of seeing if you're going straight or not without using like GPS or the auto drive mod where you can stay in a fixed direction. So not going to be perfect as it does bounce around a bit, but it's a handy thing to do, at least if you use it just for your first kind of pass on the field. So if we spin round, careful not to damage the hedge. Yeah, I definitely think we might need to go and get a heavier front weight. So this is a little bit heavy. Also the tractor's struggling a little bit. It's not too bad, but we're not getting the full 7 mile an hour. Well, 8 mile an hour actually this one should be. So kind of thinking whether we return this plough and get the in-game aggro mash one, which I think has got a slightly lower. No, it's 150, which is more. We might have to even go down to a 2 meter. Which would be something like that, even though that's 140 horsepower requirement. Yeah. Well, I'll persevere with this one for a little bit and see how we get on. We may possibly change it, at least possibly get a new front weight. One that's probably more around about a ton, 1,000 kilograms than the 600 we have. Okay, so we didn't get particularly far. I had to go and change the setup. So we've got a different plough on the back, and also I went with the SOB adjustable slice weight for the front with a 1200 kilogram weight on there currently, so we can adjust that back at the farmyard at the garage to different weights as and when we need to. So a bit more versatile than the other weight, which was just not heavy enough for the plough on the back. So the plough we went for was the Gregoire Besson from the pack, which is the one I overlooked initially. So this is the 2.8 meter version. So it's slightly wider than the last one, but has a 25 horsepower less requirement, so it's only 120 horsepower requirement. We're pulling it with pretty much no problems at all. It's bouncing between 6-7 miles an hour, but if you do look at the field, there's a slight incline going this way, and then there's a slight dip there where it drops down the other side. But yeah, this is doing a much better job than the previous plough we tried. Fortunately, the local 6 Ashes New Holland dealership allowed us to return the other plough for a full refund, as we hadn't exceeded our kind of trial period that you get with seasons. So it's quite handy. And also I forgot to adjust the time back 2 times 10. Let's just do that. I need to get out of cab to do it because the fast night mod doesn't work in cab. So yeah, we're going to be probably working well into the night to get these 2 fields ploughed, ready for the next episode when we can get some barley and canola planted. And I know ploughing, from a lot of the comments I get, a lot of people really dislike ploughing, find it one of the least liked job in Farm Simulator. But see, it is a part of farming, although I do see there are quite a lot of British farmers now moving away from ploughing and going into no-till or minimum till working on their farms. But yeah, this is the kind of plough I see most used round by me. It's probably the most commonly used and traditional plough used in the UK as well. So I know there are different options, like there's the Lizard 6M, which we wouldn't be able to pull with this tractor anyway unless we put it on backwards, which everyone keeps telling me should turn it round. But then it's backwards. I know it works, but it shouldn't work. It's kind of one of those things. It's, yes, the game allows you to do it, but, and I'll say, if you're happy doing it, I'm not going to say you're wrong for doing it. At the end of the day, it's a game and you need to play it the way you enjoy it. If you're not enjoying playing the game, then yeah, what's the point in playing? So I'll never tell anybody anybody's wrong because they do something different to the way I do it. I enjoy playing it with that sense of realism. Yes, jobs may take a little bit longer, but I don't mind. Plowing's a job, one of those jobs that it is slow, laborious job, but I find it relaxing and therapeutic to do, and I really don't mind doing it, so I'll happily sit here for the time it takes to get these 2 fields done, but I definitely won't bore you all with watching it all, so we'll probably come back just as I'm about to finish off the last field, as we're already getting on for way longer than I intended for our first video, but we've had we've had a little bit to do with buying some equipment, buying actual farm and land and stuff for our first day here in Six Ashes, which I say is looking very beautiful at this time of year. I'm looking forward to seeing it change through the seasons and seeing how it looks. I don't live too far away from this area in real life. I'm in like Worcestershire, which for me to get to Six Ashes I'd drive up through Stourbridge and then on up towards Bridge North, heading that way through Six Ashes. Shropshire's one of the counties I used to visit very regularly. For anybody that's watched my setup tour video, you will have seen I do build a lot of scale models. Scale Model World, which is the big model exhibition which is held at the International Centre in Telford in Shropshire. Unfortunately, due to circumstances, has been cancelled this year. So yeah, no visit. That would have been next month in November. So yeah, unfortunately we're going to miss out on that this year. So that was my annual trip to Shropshire. Hopefully it'll be back to normal next year, and yeah, things will be a lot more positive for 2021. But anyway, I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to get it all done, and then we'll come back as we finish off the last field, which yeah, is looking at, it's 10 to 5 now. I reckon it's probably going to be quite late in the evening, and we're going to be working into the darkness, put it that way anyway. So we'll see you shortly for you, a while for me. Okay, so we're still on the first field. It took a little bit longer than I expected. We're just finishing off this last little corner. What I'm going to do is we'll finish this off and then we'll call it a night, because it's just after 8 o'clock. This is one of the challenges with seasons, having a fixed time when you play, trying to get everything done when you want. Obviously in the future we get a second tractor and some money to hire a worker. That will drastically help speed things up, and also a slightly higher horsepower tractor will be beneficial, as well as tractor's not done too bad with this plough. It has a few areas struggled a little bit on some of the bumps, so yeah, definitely something we could look to upgrade. Fortunately we've only got the one field to do, which I'll do tomorrow, next in-game day, and then we'll come back in mid-spring to get our first crops in the ground. So we'll get our barley and quinoa planted. Also look at trying to do a contract or two to make up the money, as we're going to need to make that first repayment on the loan before we finish up. So I think I've just got this tiny little bit left to do down the bottom end, and then we are all done. So yeah, I'll get the other field finished tomorrow, which will be the last day of early spring. And then we've finished ploughing for this year. I definitely don't think we'll be taking any ploughing contracts using our own equipment. Well, it's been good fun. I've enjoyed it. So I'm really looking forward to this map, playing on this map, especially with Seasons as well. Ever since Seasons released, I've wanted to get back to doing a Let's Play with Seasons on, and having a go, kind of a different pace to the time-lapse videos. So hopefully you've all enjoyed the first episode on 6 Ashes, and if you have, then don't forget to hit the like button and let me know in the comments you want to see more. I'm definitely looking forward to doing a few more Let's Plays. So I really wanted to get back to doing Let's Plays for a while. My intention was never to do a complete time-lapse channel. I always wanted to do time-lapses and other videos, but yeah, circumstances kind of made that a little bit difficult to kind of do. So I think we are all finished. So we can get our... well, we need to spin it back round and get it folded up and get our beacon on and try and find our way home in the dark, as it is extremely dark now. We did get to around about 6 PM and the lighting just looked absolutely fantastic. It really did look good. I don't know if it's standard Seasons lighting or whether GB has added some additional lighting or tweaks to the lighting, but it looked absolutely amazing around 6 PM this time of the year. So I say we need to be careful through here, we don't crash into any trees or fence posts. So I say if you have enjoyed the video, which I hope you have, because I really enjoyed recording it, so I'm really looking forward to playing more on this map, then hit that like button, and a big thank you for watching if you made it this far through the video anyway. It's been a fairly long one. I would say not my intention to do it this long, but that's kind of the way it's done, to try and get everything fitted in. Maybe the future ones will be a little bit shorter anyway, so a big thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you again, goodbye.